So between the two organisations, there's a lot of love to go around. So some of this talk, I imagine we're going to be going over some of the other stuff, so you'll learn a bit more about his current business, and he'll be telling you a little bit more about himself. So I'm really grateful that you're here today. Over to Baiju.
Right. Hello. Hello. Get your phones out. Get your phones out. Everybody get your phones out.
Can you give us the Wi-Fi password?
It's O2, so there's no password as such. Another bit of interactivity. So, before I start formally, if you get your phones out, go to your URL, go to your Safari or Google and put that in your phone. So glsr.it.eco. You have an opportunity to have all the slides and also ask me questions live while we're here, and they'll be appearing on the screen. And there'll be some polls, there'll be some bits and pieces that we're doing, and also you'll be able to get every. I'll explain how it works. So just go to your Safari or Google, no W's, and just type that in, log in, just put your email in, and then you'll come up with a splash screen with the first slide. So apart from one person, I think everybody's here has heard me talk before, correct?
Yeah.
Apart from this gentleman here, David.
Yeah, correct.
Right, you should have that screen come up. So once everybody's set, you should have that screen on your phone. Once you have that screen, we will start. I've just been waiting for you. You're ready? We go.
I need to get off private.
So yeah, so go into normal. Just go into that. Just go into non-private.
It's O2 you want, yeah?
There you go. You can use 3G. You can use 3G. And that screen should come up. So GLSI at the top there. Put that in your. Everybody?
No.
Right. glsi.it/bcom. So I didn't catch. So while you're doing that, David, what's your thing? What's your game?
Internet marketing, Facebook ads, sales funnels.
Right. Click funnels.
Click funnels.
Lead pages.
Click funnels.
Kajabi.
No.
No, just click funnels. You know Jason Ecomodes?
I do, yep.
You do know Jason, right? Okay. I know Jason very well. Good. Okay. Who knows? Do you know Jason? Okay. I know Jason very well. Good. Right. Once you've got that in. So today, thank you for inviting me again, Jill. You came to my event a couple of weeks ago. That's where we met Belinda. So today I'm going to talk about this: how to make a game-changing impact. I'm going to assume that all of you know nothing about me. So going back to what Jill was saying, you listening from a place of complete blank slate, I'm going to present from the place of I'm not making no assumptions that you know about me. Okay? As opposed to how you've heard this before. So my, has everybody still got that? Have we got that screen on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so during the at the bottom of your phone, you'll see that you can ask questions. So during the presentation, if you want to ask questions, they will appear here. So if you think, oh, I'm asking something, you can ask a question at the bottom. So you've got a question there. You've got a question there, buddy. You've got a question? Where is that thing? Why is it not live? There. Oh, white. Someone does white. There you go. And if you like that question, you can like it. So if you ask someone else likes a question, if someone else hair looking good, I like it. Why do you touch your hair? Absolutely. When someone plays that same skill, you'll know the level of where they're at. That's all it says. That's all it says, Scott. I can say a lot. Jealousy is always there. So I'll turn that off. So during the presentation, you can ask any questions you want, and they'll appear. So I want to know before we start is who's in the room. So on your phones now, there'll be a little poll come up.
Baiju, I'm still stuck at private mode.
Well, come off private then, you.
I don't know.
Just go to Safari. Safari, here we go. Come off there, plus. There you go. GLSR. There you go. Why are you on private?
Go to
Clear, then press that again. That's it.
Oh, that's it.
Maybe 1 L?
GOSR.IT.
He's still going to win this, is he?
Right, okay. So on your phones, you should have a. Who's in the room? So this will be live now as it goes. As each of you vote, we'll see who's in the room. 57% right now is over 3 years, 22% less. No one here is in. Oh, none of the above. We'll see. Find out who that is. 11% are neither running a business or they don't work. 67% more as we get voting. That's gone down now. 6 has gone down. How's that?
Because there's only one person.
One person, yeah. Okay. So more than 3/4 of the room running your own business for more than 3 years. Right. Interesting. 15%, 3 years. Good. Okay. So that shows me that I'm not talking to an audience that. It's been proved by the government statistics that if you've been running your business for more than 3 years, then you're doing something right. You're still doing a lot of things wrong.
You've got deep pockets.
Right? Sorry?
You've got deep pockets.
Or you've got deep pockets, yeah, or you've got deep pockets. Either way, you're doing something right. Okay. So I'm going to talk about how we make a game-changing impact. And getting you to understand what game-changing impact is. My background is around psychology. I used to be a psychologist. So this is a quote. It's no longer good enough to be excellent. It needs to be outstanding. To be outstanding, you need to change the game. Understanding the game-changing impact you make will give you that edge. Especially in this world now, there's a lot of people doing the same stuff. How many people do you know do Facebook ads? Lots. Okay. All over the shop. All over the shop, right? No, you might be rubbish. You probably will.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So how can you make sure that you make a game-changing impact? What's the differential? Is it that, like someone asked Scott, what makes you different? Now, your answer wasn't a game-changing answer. No, by any means. But we settle for a standard and think that's right. I look at it from the audience point of view. I was looking at myself, was I making a game-changing impact? Even now, I'm not. You think you're playing the big game, and you realise, you know what, just because I say these people are rubbish and I do this different, oh, that's good enough. Is it? Really? Do you think you're playing the game that you should be playing? Do you think you're playing the kind of game that either is linked to your ability or even your effort? I was listening, I don't know if you saw my Facebook post this morning, I saw this video, inspirational speech, I can't remember who the guy was, but he was saying that most people want success. They want it all, love, connection, money, wealth, blah, blah, everything. But what they're not prepared to do is the sacrifice to get that. They're not prepared to do what it takes. If they want to throw a stat out there, I'll throw a stat out there. 90% of people will say it, but not do the thing, and they'll give me the reason why they won't. It's their story. We've had many standout rows, me and Noah can, about BCOS strategy stuff. It's not a question of who's right or wrong, it's just different.
I think I was right.
There you go. Is that a game-changing answer? And this hit home for me. The stuff that I was doing, I was just fiddling about. I'm only just starting coming out of that. So this is my journey. 2007, I left my corporate job. I was a psychology lecturer. The reason I was a psychology lecturer is because I studied psychology and I didn't really realise what other job you can get. So I was taught for 4 years lecturing, and I left in '98, and I started a sales job. I wanted to be a sports psychologist. I did a master's in sports psychology. But family stuff, money, I think he said women there, but that was just before the marriage bit, happened, and I got into this sales job. It was marketing, it was working with universities around the world who wanted to recruit international students. And I thought I'd stay for 6 months. With sales, anybody been in sales? You don't stay long if you're not successful. True? Right, it's not one of those jobs where, if you don't, good. And I thought, 6 months in, I'll leave there and start my sports psychology degree. Within 6 months, I started getting some deals. Enough, I was good enough to stay on, but not really hitting the big time. I ended up being there 9 years. So I was doing something right. And I was good at it, but didn't really enjoy it. And there was various circumstances that meant that I didn't want, if I stayed there, I would have been completely soulless for the rest of my life. And I thought, you know what, I want to do my own thing. So 2007, I left and started my own coaching and training business. How many have left a job to start their own business where it's just you? Solo entrepreneur, one-man band. How many are sort of more or less still like that, but you might have a few associates, a couple of employees? Yeah, okay, you're sort of there and thereabouts. And that's the game. So I thought, now 2008, what happened with the financial crisis? Do you know what happened? Bang, right, massive recession. My naivety got me through. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know that it was hard to go and get deals. I just went and spoke to people and said, this is what I do now. So my background was in education and sales. So I thought, oh no, I'll coach teachers and I'll do sales training for companies. That was fairly logical. And that's what I did. First school I phoned up, had a bit of a banter. Luck, pure luck, there's no strategy. The headmaster liked me. Just luck, what happened. I think the reason we connected was talking about cricket. Go on to that. That allowed me to get a coffee with him, which led to a 5-figure contract. I thought this is a piece of business. This has been solo entrepreneur stuff, and I was coaching the SLT, which is the senior leadership team. Then I ended up, working with all the leaders, and that was like a 2-year contract. And in between that, looking back, that just basically gave me the arrogance of confidence just to approach every other school and businesses. So I went in there. Have you heard of the sales technique, the assumptive sale? Mm-hmm. Right, I was just doing that, not knowing I was doing it. Just smashing it out. And that lasted for about 3 or 4 years, 5 years. 2010, which I forgot to mention, I won South End Businessman of the Year. Looking back, it was a curse for me. But at the time, it was great, got a nice award. It's third-party verification. Third parties are verified based on what you show them. Oh, you're worthy of Businessman of the Year. All right, it was South End, but it's still a fairly big population. And it was like you get to the fight. What happens is they get nominations, you get nominated, you get nominations, then you get a final 3, phone call, you final 3. I look at the other 2, and there was one guy who was an estate agent, and he was really good. He was, and you look at him and you think you don't like him, right? You don't like him from the kind of person he is, but you can't not respect his business acumen and what he's done with this estate agency that he. And I thought he's going to smash it. And the other guy was. Who was the other guy? I was a hairdresser, but it was really good. He had a very novel way of beauty salon and hairdresser, and the way he innovated his thing. So I thought, yeah, great, they're going to, whatever. And I won it. And I know I won it at the time through sheer personality. Just my force of personality, not my business. But from a business point of view, in terms of revenue and all the rest of it, hands down that one. And I thought, well, that was great. And I thought, this is easy. And I wrote this book, I'm an Entrepreneur, Get Me Out of Here, in 2012. Why did I write that book? Because when I got that award, you're an entrepreneur, you do this, you do that. I said, why not? I didn't feel like an entrepreneur. Then I started, and I told this story a few times, is that what is an entrepreneur? What's the definition? What is it? So I interviewed about 11 entrepreneurs to see what is the common theme between these people. Is it that they have a hunger for making enormous amounts of money? As long as they make money, anything else, it doesn't matter what it is. Is it a hunger? Is it a way that they're great at coming up with ideas? Is that why we're mere mortals who work for corporates or work for companies can't come up with ideas? Is it that they know how to solve problems? The one common thing between all these people, because the background of these people, male, female, old, young, silver spoon, non-silver spoon, academic, was the thought process. The way they thought was very different to what you might term as a non-entrepreneur. So then I thought, if it's a thought process, if entrepreneurship is a thought process, why is that thought process only available for people who want to start a business? Why can't that thought process be available to everybody? We talk about education a lot in this community, about changing the system and all the rest of it, and I'm going to talk about some of the events in a minute. So, if it's a thought process, what does the thought process give me? When 2007, the year before that, I did Tony Robbins, big railroad, firewalk, all the rest of it, and that sort of was the catalyst for me to make the change. What was different in my life between that event and me having the thought process of making a change with confidence was a way of thinking. My personal circumstance didn't change. I didn't come in a load of money all of a sudden. I wasn't given something did happen over here that meant, I can leave now. I didn't get redundancy. Nothing happened. Just my thinking changed, which meant the excuse I had here before my thinking changed was I can't leave because I've got a family, I need to earn money, blah, 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 blah. The thought process here was, right, how do I get the money? That's the only difference. And I conspired to get the money I needed so I could leave my job. So if entrepreneurship isn't a way of thinking, what then? And then I think we met around here somewhere. We didn't really connect. And then we met in 2011 under the in the KPI program. And I started thinking, I did Landmark. Some of you have heard of Landmark? What was that? Is it there? What, is it filming?
I saw it already.
Is it? We did Landmarks, right? And then it was a really good, don't worry about these guys because you're more important because you're probably more people watching this than over here. Right? And in Landmark, those who do Landmark, there's one course called SELP, Self-Expression and Leadership Program. Their premise around being self-expressed and being a leader is you cannot be self-expressed or lead something that's all about you. You've got to create something and create a change that forces you to create leaders and forces you to express yourself through another entity. Is that about right? That was my interpretation.
This is good enough.
That's how I interpret it anyway. So I thought, okay, this thing about entrepreneurship, I want to educate the things that I was educated from 2007 to school children and young adults. What would be the impact if this kind of event was given to young kids all the time? We come here every month, and get exposed to this. Do we know it all? No, we know that, as Jill said, you listen from a different place. But we don't teach these things here. So I ran this event, first time in 2013. Okay, spoken there, Jill's been there as well, there's a few others. Scott's been, a few other here have been. You haven't been? Have you been? You've been, yeah. Stuart's been there as well. And it's a big viral, 300 people, 200 kids in the room and multiple speakers, and it's just a motivational, getting them thinking in a different way. And this was my journey. I started thinking I'm starting making an impact that potentially can be game changing. I didn't know it then, but when I look back now, basically I'm a 10-year startup. I'm a 10-year startup because what I'm doing now, which I'll explain in a moment, started in 2007. And a lot of people start a business want the success of whether it's revenue or whether it's notoriety or profile, and you're searching for that. So then, 2015, I came up with this concept of creating a TV channel. There's Jill, see Jill sitting behind the London Eye. The concept of TV channels, I thought media is the way to get into people's minds. So I created a TV channel, Entrepreneur TV, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, the business model didn't stack, just didn't stack. But the concept of creating a platform to make a game-changing impact in creating entrepreneurial thinking was still there. And if you think about B collaboration, the idea is ludicrous. The idea is ludicrous. However, when you marry that with what it can have, how it can make an impact on the world, and getting the right people, it becomes a reality. And I'll explain in a moment my sort of formula of how you make an impact, and I will use B collaboration as a model of where it's working well and where it needs to focus, if that makes sense. Yeah? And you can apply that to your own organisation. You know, your thing around that goal setting thing, I can't remember what it was, is if it's going to make a game-changing impact, is the idea itself and you doing it enough? The answer's no, by the way. It's not enough. And I'll come to in a moment what else I potentially see that you need. And if you look at the things that make a game-changing impact, and I'll define game-changing impact, what's needed. So then On Spirit was born in 2017, this year, beginning of this year. So On Spirit stands for Entrepreneurial Spirit. How you unleash your entrepreneurial spirit. Why did I come up with that name? Going back to what entrepreneur really means. So the word entrepreneur, as many of you heard before, I assume you haven't, comes from a French word. Do you know what it means?
I don't know.
So if someone said to you, what is an entrepreneur, before this talk today, Dave, what's an entrepreneur? What would you say? An entrepreneur is?
Somebody who goes out and builds a business or something.
Yeah. And that's what Western society would say. Would you say Martin Luther King was an entrepreneur?
Not under my definition.
Of course, yeah, most people don't. But if you look at his thought process, in terms of what he had, the way he had to think about the world, the way he had to think about what he wanted to create, the fact that he created a movement and not a widget to sell, the thought process is the same. Yeah? Mahatma Gandhi, Elon Musk, Richard Branson, it's just a commodity. So, entrepreneur, the French word means to undertake, is an undertaking. You take something on. And what we take on in this society is a business. So big collaboration is a concept within Erkan's mind that he started to communicate to other people, and we get to a point whereby we're running 4 or 5 meetings a month and trying to spread the word. So it's an undertaking. Entrepreneurial thinking requires that. Whether it's money making, whether it's not, whether it's social enterprise, there's not anything up there. Wi-Fi. So, account of one spirit. But where it gets really sexy is the etymology of the word entrepreneur comes from a Sanskrit word, Athena Prina, directly translated means inner motivation. There's something in here. So you've got to ask yourself, is the thing in here that's really burning, the thing that you really want to do? If that's what you're doing, you're really truly living your entrepreneurial spirit. From a layman's point of view, you look at society in school, it numbs it. You went to an alternative conference thing. What was the thing you and Jill went to?
Alternative view.
Right. Now, everything, I didn't go to it, from what I heard what you were saying, it was a view that conventional society would either mock or dismiss or think, what are you talking about? But then if you, I'm assuming, you go there, you listen and you think, do you know what, I can see where that view comes from. There will be certain pockets of society that will be a fly on the wall in this room and think we're mad. What do you mean the world doesn't work like this? How do you mean that can't work? That's why we have an introduction. And 9 times out of 10, most people hear the introduction and then think, yeah, I want the world to be like that. But it's not really possible, is it? Is it really? Can I do it? Well, it's only in Butler's Wharf I can do it. Or in Hertford Lock Fine. It's an anchor. And when I see Lock Fine restaurant, I just anchor off your booty hole. Anyway. So On Spirit was born. So On Spirit is my platform. And Jill's a contributor. Who else is a contributor? Oh, no. You should be.
I will.
Yeah. So what is On Spirit for you? From what you've been a contributor now, a couple of 3 or 4 articles, you've seen it, we've been in communication. What is it to you?
It's huge potential. It's opportunity, it's a group of people that are up for something. And I'm not sure if it's come together yet, what they're up to, but it's like I'm sitting on the sidelines ready to jump.
Those who don't know Jill used to be part of BNI regionally. So from a networking point of view, there's not many SMEs she doesn't know, correct? You know, in this sort of vicinity, if she doesn't know me, she knows at least someone who knows someone, right? You came to my event a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
How many people do you know?
Not as many as I normally do,
No.
that's for sure.
First thing you said to me is, wow, there's a lot of people who I don't know.
Yeah.
So the scope of people out there that we think we've touched are not even there. And the calibre of people. Is On Spirit potentially, did you just say no? Let me ask you this, is big collaboration game changing? Yeah. Is it making a game changing impact at the moment?
Yes.
To a certain extent, but not what it should be.
No.
And I'll give you the reason why in a minute. Is On Spirit potentially game changing? Yeah. Is it at the moment? No. So the question to you is your stuff game changing potentially?
Sorry, yes, but not. You know it's not without measuring that.
What do you mean?
Well,
I'll give you my measure.
it's
I'll give you what game changing is in a minute, and then you can judge on that. But again, you could say, okay, based on where you're positioning it, looking at it, it's game changing because it's depending on your anchor and your measurement. So it is subjective from that point of view. 100%, yeah. But this goes back to exactly. So I would say game changing is a parent who decides I do my working hours so I can show and pick my kids up from school. That's game changing. Because what's the kid going to remember? Right? How many here have got kids consciously worked around to ensure you pick up? You do that, didn't you? Right? And when my youngest was born, my wife, who was then a midwife, she worked night shifts. So we made sure, although, as you know, we got babysitters coming out of our ears everywhere, you know, granddads everywhere coming, so that's not a problem. we made sure that one of us was in the house when the kids were growing up or pick up from school. Now you might think, that's massively game changing. You know it's game changing when you hear about the kids who never see their parents, only just before bedtime or just before they go to work. So you're right, is it game changing now? Yes. Based on the measure I've put? No. Because I've increased my bar. Because when I was here, when I was reaching what I wanted to reach, when I wanted to reach what I wanted to reach with me as a solo entrepreneur, I got there relatively quickly. And I thought, did I really set a standard here for myself? I thought I did. This is what I wanted to achieve as a Solanki.com consultant, coach, go out there, speak, blah, blah, blah. And then I realised that that's not, here, when I started creating one of it, I thought, if this is it for me, that I'm Baiju.com, bit of coaching, bit of consultancy, go out there speaking, blah, blah, blah. If that's it for me, I started feeling like I was feeling in my corporate job. Whoa, this is not big enough. Then I got really scared. How can I create something that's potentially big enough that will excite me? And we've been on this journey with Biko. You know, I was there at Biko the earlier, been involved, not involved. When we started doing On Spirit. Where's that? And he started getting to a point where what do I want the future to be? So when On Spirit was born, I started getting really excited. But then I realised the only way On Spirit can happen is if, using landmarks language, I can involve not just a few people, but a vast majority of people. But not just anybody, influencers, players, and the marketplace. So if you go on my platform now, I've got about 30, 35 contributors, and there was one contributor who said to me, because I know a lot of people, went on there, he goes, what I really like, there was about a third of the people I knew, respected highly, there was a third of the people that they're writing for you that I know of, but I know they're good stuff, and there's a third of people I've never heard of. So it shows that your network is wide, and you're not getting what you might term as usual suspects, in the most kindest way. So then I thought, okay, how am I going to make this work? What do I need to do? What's the first thing I need to do? What's the first thing I needed to do? I looked at what I needed to do before. What's the first thing I needed to do?
Vision. Vision.
Yeah, but that was there. That goes back to the sort of business plan thing.
Scale.
Make it about you.
So don't sell the right people.
Change my mindset. I know we make it, we just mock mindset. I had to shift everything. Because in order On Spirit to work, my mindset was still, consultant, coach, do your thing, all the rest of it. I had to shift it completely, which, and many of you know, around this time, personally, things are all over the shop. Looking back, that was a semi-blessing because I had to focus. I had to really focus and really step up to a plane that I never knew. So, the start of it is this game-changing entrepreneur report I've commissioned. And I sort of presented it. This is only a draft copy. And this report is basically I commissioned this, my take on what it takes to be a game-changing entrepreneur. What kind of, so we're going to talk about profile in a minute, and talk about the concept of what On Spirit is. And On Spirit is based on 3 core pillars. So this is an evolution. The actual On Spirit vision was created, and I came up with the 3 pillars on the front.
What did you say, phone or throne?
Throne. No, I lost what you were saying for a minute.
What happened was, we don't.
Sound vision that she's rather not had. She's got
The point was, I was working at On Spirit. We did one of you know Sarah Wilburn. Sarah Wilburn is I've been working with her, and she's just a genius. And we spent 2 days just decanting what On Spirit was about. She said to me, Baiju, look, I just want you to talk and just tell me your ultimate vision of what you want to create in the world. And I just talked for 2 days, and she just made notes. And at the end of the day, I said, so what you got? She goes, I'll come back to you in a couple of weeks. So I went away and she created this document, which I got back was basically what was in my head that I could communicate to the world at large. And when you sift away that document, it comes down to 3 core pillars. First one is inspire. Inspiring and motivating you towards making the choices for your entrepreneurial future. That's it. The first core purpose of On Spirit is to inspire you. Now, this is where the contributors come in. If I sit there and say, do you know what? You know, I know a bit about mindset, a bit of coaching, this and that, you know, I know a little bit of marketing, and talk a bit, and all the rest of it. And I want to create a society that I inspire solely from my doctrine. Can't do it. Because I'm thinking, I'm inspired by so many others, so many other people. I want them to be part of this. So the first part, inspire people to create an entrepreneurial future, hence why I had to enroll other people. Why Jill's on board, and hopefully many of you can come on board as well. If you think about B collaboration cannot work. It physically cannot work through an idea alone. It has to have people. Now, the right people. If you see some of the members that have been through BCOL, they're not here now. Not because we've chucked them out. It's just that they weren't right for the right time. You see the same people coming back. You don't come back for BCOL, you come back for you. Yeah? You don't come back so you're supporting Erkan and Jill when you've got a spare afternoon. You come in, Mitch, because you will get something.
Right.
Every single time. Because there is no referral slips going around. The second thing is educate. Do you know what the definition of education is? Do you know what education is? If I remember, it's drawing out. It's not about tennis, but inspiration drawing. It's about getting people, giving them enough information to make their own decisions. So is On Spirit there about training, coaching? It is all of that. It's around educating, providing you with the ways to help you guide you through your entrepreneurial decisions. Again, I thought, is it just my IP? Is it just my stuff? No. So 80% of our education is through our partners. So you did a presentation around sort of design thinking and innovation, right? I could create a little course, go on YouTube, do a bits and pieces, but hey, it's not my thing. So you're the expert in that. I want to find a way that your skill set is benefited through the On Spirit platform. And I've got 4 or 5 different models that will do that, and we'll work out whichever model works for you. It's not this is what it is. And the third thing is, if you think this is at the core of what B collaboration is about, is connect. Is you cannot achieve anything until you connect with someone. Spiritually, emotionally, sexually, humanely, anything. You cannot. You just cannot happen. So connecting those who want to combine the working life with their passion. And sometimes when it's so simple, you think, oh, it can't be that simple. And that's what On Spirit is about, and we do that through various mediums. The first bit is through the contributors in terms of like content on our website. Heard of inc.com, inc.com, entrepreneur.com, HuffPost. Think that is what On Spirit. On Spirit's end goal also is it becomes a kite mark for a value-driven, purpose-driven enterprise. So if you're associated with On Spirit, it's like the BS thing, standard. They don't need to know any more about you. If you're with On Spirit, they'll be the top guy. Simple as that. Before they get on. But anyway, you get what's in. And what's the qualification? A value. It's a value. It's a value match. It's a bit like BCOL is, if you get it, you get BCOL. You don't need to know your credentials, your qualifications, really, or whatever. The authenticity is in the practice. Are you authentic, Mitch? Well, tell me. I see it in the practice, in the exchange. So the platform is about that. The platform is everything about that. All of a sudden now, these last 6-7 months, I wake up, so scared. Why am I scared? If it doesn't work. And then, I shit myself again. Why do I shit myself again? Okay, for works. 100% in case it works. Because then I've got to deliver.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. You have no idea how true a statement that is. Be careful. Because all of a sudden now, if I sort of just sort of filters away and I go and just sort of be a coach. Nothing wrong with being a coach, but one-to-one, bit of work, this and that. It's like, well, See? Ain't gonna happen. It's a bit like Biko. It's an elephant. It's out there. It has to be done. So I'll put it to you: is the thing that you really want to do, is it out there yet? Is it manifesting? Don't worry about the platform, whether it's Facebook or Google Plus or the thing. They're just the vehicle. They're just the tools. Is the thing that you have, is it out there? So this is why this is a 10-year start. I couldn't have come up with this at 2007. It can only have been born now because of my experience. So this is my little... Then I was like, okay, well, how do you make an impact? How do you make an entrepreneurial impact? Now, entrepreneur, it's not about how you make a business impact. It's going back to that definition, right? The way of thinking. The very fact that you're sitting in this room now means you think in that way. Whether you think in that way all the time, to your service, to your benefit, I don't know. Your results will tell you that. Financial results, your thought results, how you feel each day, the connections you're making, the impact you're making. They are the heuristics based on, you know that phrase, you know, how wealthy you are, or once you take away everything that money can't buy, that's your measure of your wealth. I looked at my life yesterday, I looked at the richest man in the world. One account's a little bit, it's a bit overdraft, one. I'm asked for a loan interest rate at the moment, but it might be charging interest. That's a great metaphor actually when I think about it. Anyway, so there's 3 things you need to make an impact. There's 3 things. First thing, come on.
Sort your software out.
I know.
Do you want a dongle?
Huh?
Do you want a dongle?
There you go. It's people. Enabling everyone to make an impact. So in BCOL, if BCOL doesn't allow you to make an impact, you ain't going to be here. On a grand scale. Now if you look at BNI, the simple formula is, well, if I can ensure that you get enough leads each week, you're going to come back. And we have a formula: turn up, 6:30, have your breakfast, pay £10, be membership, pass on referrals. If you have that formula, Mr. Businessman, you will get some leads. And that's it, simple formula, right? So enabling everyone to make an impact. So if your business is not enabling them to make an impact in the way they want to make it, it's not going to happen. Because then it becomes self-serving for the organisation. See that? The second thing is ideas. Exploring possibilities and making sense of them. Think of BCOL. It's been, if you're true to yourself, true to BCOL, it's been trying so much to try and create structures, the wrong word, opportunities, ecosystems, so those ideas start to create possibilities. We've tried and failed, correct? The latest one is what Colin's, what's that thing you call? Open space thing, yeah, that thing, right? It's another idea. It could work, I don't know, but it's all about making those ideas happen. And the third thing is, and this nothing happens without this, is the tasks. You've got to get things done, but things done well. How many of you have done things and it's just good enough and you've got away with it? Yeah. Really? Has it made an impact both? Is it your standard? Is it the standard required to your... No way! But you get away with it because you get away with it. But then you look at other people and you think, wow, that's class. You know, I've been looking at ClickFunnels, right? There's some people doing ClickFunnels campaigns. For those who know ClickFunnels, do we know ClickFunnels? Right? Some are doing it. I know they're doing it to me, and I'm getting turned on. In terms of the lead pages and the opt-ins and how they're doing it. I know what's happening to me. They get my email address, they give me stuff, but it's so slick. You think, so are they sitting there doing it just good enough, or they think, you know, we're going to make such an impact that even those who know that we're going through this sort of technique, you feel, yeah. And are you doing that? Are you really, really doing it? I don't know. And what you find, if you've got the people and you've got the ideas, there's a lot of busy fool syndrome, lots of stuff happening, right? Because nobody's making a decision. If you're doing lots of stuff and just with the people, it's samey. You're getting lots of things done, but you're not innovating. You're not creating new things. If you've got the ideas and the task, you can't scale it. If you're just doing it and it's just you and it's no one else, you're not getting anyone else involved, whether it's associates, whether it's collaborators, whether it's contributors, you burn out. So to make a game-changing impact, you need all three. Doesn't matter what your business is. The how many people you need and what sort of ideas and what tasks, that will vary depending on what you want to create and what you want to do.
I think the thing in the middle is passion. Even if you did all of those, had all those things, if you didn't have the passion, then you wouldn't bring the people, you wouldn't get the ideas, you wouldn't complete the tasks.
So
Passion is what drives you to keep going.
So this isn't a vision or a passion formula. This is what's needed to happen. So the passion thing, I get you. That's for one, where I'm coming from. That's a presumption. That's an assumption. Sorry, it's going to happen. Yeah, but I get that. But when you find it, it doesn't last long.
But if you go back to your original Sanskrit meaning of entrepreneur, it's there. It's in the motivation, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got that in the middle.
It's there. It's a good time. Any questions coming up? Let's have a look. Oh, this Wi-Fi. Looking good. No other questions. Why have you not lost your account? Why did Deep Pockets? If you think about your TV channel Facebook interviews, were you just ahead of the game?
What's the one about? Who asked the one about the award? You said
Why was the award? Oh, okay. So why was the award? And I made it mean that. That's all. Because when the time I got it, I didn't believe I did enough to deserve it. And it's one of those things where I'm like, you know, and I think I subconsciously, oh yeah, I'm all right, I must be doing something right. And I didn't innovate. The next 3 or 4 years, I sort of carried on doing the same. I didn't innovate my business, I didn't do stuff. There's certain stuff that, if I knew what I knew now, I would have done then, I wouldn't be in the position I'm in now. But I didn't innovate, I didn't invest in my business, I just, you know.
So it's like when you were doing sales and you've done so well, and wait, is this it? So
A little bit,
like,
yeah.
This is it.
And because then, when I thought about the one-man band stuff and doing my own stuff, I didn't know what else is there, apart from what, I didn't want to employ loads of people, I didn't want to go back into corporate. So I thought, oh, I'll just make it sexier. And there's only so much you can make it sexy yourself. I didn't have the mind capacity, and you know when I talked about the big leap, you know, at the Hartford meeting, the big leap is a self-imposed limit you have in yourself. Is the self-imposed limit I didn't really believe I was good enough to play that bigger game. You know, I didn't have the nuance, the character, the connections, the whatever you wanted to call it. So this is what I want to talk about, this profile. Talk about people, enabling and making impact. So the entrepreneur impact profile. Give you more details on that now. Oh, it's not focused. So there's an organisation called the GC, 50 minutes, perfect. There's an organisation called the GC Index, called the Game Change Index. And I came across these guys about a year ago. And they come up with this concept about how you make a game-changing impact on the world. And they did a research, they were working with Dyson, the vacuum cleaner organisation. And Dyson said, you know, we've got some great people in our organisation, but we don't really know. There's a flip-on comment who the game changers are. And they thought, what makes a game changer? So Jill was at my event a few weeks ago, Dr. John Mervyn Smith and Nathan Ott, a couple of psychologists who did some research, and they started interviewing executives in big corporates to find out what is a characteristic of a game changer. What makes a game changer? And they find 2 heuristics. Firstly, game changers are highly imaginative, high imagination, and they're highly obsessive. And they created a report called the DNA of the Game Changer. When I was reading this report and I was going through the concept of game changing, I thought, there is no difference between a characteristic of a game changer and an entrepreneur in terms of the way they think. You're highly obsessed about something and you're highly imaginative. And they create this measure of what a game changer is. And as a result of that, so game changer's up here, so, oh, for crying out loud. It's the Wi-Fi, because it connects to the Wi-Fi. Does this fit on your phone?
Yeah, no, it's on that phone.
It's on your phone?
I'm using 4G. It's more like
I'm using my hotspot.
it's cooled down now, isn't it? Not sexy.
Yeah, you ain't sexy enough for your hotspot.
Tough crowd based on it.
Game changer. Right, okay. So, and they come up with these 5 profiles: the game changer, the strategist, the implementer, polisher, and playmaker. And when you start understanding where you make an impact in the world, you start to understand what kind of game changing impact you make. So they did this research, and I got approached about a year ago, and I said, look, you're using this in corporate, do you use it in SMEs, do you use it in the entrepreneur market? And they said, no, we don't. Long story short, I've got the license now to use this. We've adapted the whole profile to use in the entrepreneur market, and it's called the entrepreneur impact profile. And this report is on the back of my research around that profile and how the profile works with the entrepreneur market, and how using this, you can start understanding how you make a game-changing impact in your industry, and more importantly, the kind of team you need to start creating around you to make the impact you can, because no one can do that really on their own, if you're playing that big a game. So, the game changer, what is a game changer? They are driven by original ideas, they find new ways of doing things. So these are the people at the front of the game. So, okay my friend, Couchwise is a game changer. Is he a good person to get things done? Why is that eyebrow gone? You need to hit the ceiling there. You need to hit the ceiling there, Jill. No.
His ideas, he's not an implementer.
Yeah, he's an ideas man, not an implementer at all. Yeah. The strategist.
We'll discuss that later.
Why are you doing it? The strategist asks the questions. Why are you doing it? If you've got someone in your team that when you've got the original idea, if you've got someone in the team saying, why are you doing this? Why are we doing it this way? You start making, oh, okay, yeah, look at things in a different way. That's the strategist of the team. The implementer is about getting things done. They're not interested in the big picture. They're not interested. They say, okay, tell me your big idea, great. Strategist, tell me what you want to achieve. Okay, I'll go and get it done. I don't need to know the rationale about, I'm not going to question the big idea. You've got a big hole, you've got the idea, right, what do you need? You need a website that people can do this, right, I'll get that done. I'm not going to question how that works.
If we get more people on that page.
Yeah, one, well, in a minute.
Yeah.
The polisher, how many of you see stuff, and just because it looks great, so this, if I gave you this as a Word document without all the bits and pieces, it wouldn't be as impressive. But when you start polishing things up and making it look, so you learn ClickFunnels, right? When you see a really slick landing page and a nice smooth entry and all this, it just feels good, doesn't it? That's what Steve Jobs was about, making it look and feel good. The polisher makes all this look good. So who in your team does that? Then the one in the middle is a playmaker. It's all about empowering others. You start identifying the people in your team, and if you've got this combination and this sort of balance, you start making a game changing impact. And I started a year ago, so I thought I was a game changer playmaker, and I wasn't. So,
What do you do then?
I'll explain what I'll tell you who I am in a minute. So, who do you think you are? So, go in your phones. Which profile do you think you are? You're a game changer. You're a game changer. Just choose one. Based on that, just on that, do you think you're a game changer, strategist, implementer, polisher, or playmaker? To see what this room is made up of. I love that. I love this stand up there. So we've got third game changer. We've got a couple of. We've got playmaker. We've got a few implementers here. There you go.
What's the playmaker definition page?
Empowering others. They bring people together.
Who's the polisher?
Polisher. Yeah, see, look, you've got a third of the room who implementers there, Cam. Reflect that, think they are. You've got a third of the group who are game changers. Well, hey, because you're based on, just, you know, you have a 2-second presentation and you're making, once you do the test and you get the thing, you'll know. So,
Some late tomorrow's game.
I know, later. No, I think about it, yeah. I'll see, so I'll know by who's put what.
So presumably it's what, one polisher? No, polisher.
So, based on percentages, does that mean we've got one polisher? Who's the polisher? Just hands up. Oh, okay, you think you're a polisher?
I'm my worst. I'm like, I'm going to get it perfect. I think that's not my worst. But I do change, I think. I am quite all over.
And who reckons they're a playmaker? Okay. Okay. So you've got a third of the room here, or 30% nearly, are implementers. That they get things done. So Kay, did you put implementer? Yeah. Okay, who else thought they were an implementer? Simon and Mitch. Okay, interesting. So,
But there's not one category in the final.
no, so what happens is when you do the test, you get a score for each one. And you get 90 times and you get a predominancy of the top two. So it doesn't mean that, so my highest was strategist. I was a strategist game changer. I got 8 on strategist, it's out of 10. My lowest was implementer. As soon as I did the test and I got the report back, this was back in September, last September time, it was liberating for me. All of a sudden, I started feeling guilty about not getting infusion soft done campaigns and emails. It was like,
but no one can do infusion.
But the point is, then I started saying, who do I need in my team? I need an implementer and I needed a polisher. And those two people, well no, implementer and polisher. So Penny, some of you remember Penny, she's my implementer, she does things. And Sarah is the polisher. She's partly implementer. She gets things so just right. So all of a sudden you start making what we call a game-changing impact. Right, so who would like to know what their profile is? There you go, just indicate, would you like to know what your profile is for taking the test? Yes you would, yes for you and your team, maybe you want some more questions or no thanks. Hopefully they're 100% yes. Now, just from a point of view of like, if you ever do talks, this talk list is fantastic, right? When I go home, that's right. The thing is, I'll know who it is when I get home, so don't worry about that. Yes for me and my team, great. And just purely from just this piece of software, throughout this afternoon, I will know who's asked questions, what slides you've liked, and all these questions. All of a sudden, you can use that as coming back to with the audience. Yeah, really powerful. So.
We expect a sales call next week then?
So the profile is £100, but the summary profile is £50. So I'll send you the link. I'll explain how it works. If you want the test, you can get the link and purchase it, right?
So you didn't say to us it was we have to pay for
I didn't say that.
You might buy it down.
No, I didn't say we'd like to buy it. I said, would you like to take it? Of course you'd like to take it. Up to you.
I should take the beta option.
That's it. That's it. But I'll send you this here. So again, because it's a license, it doesn't cost me money, so you get there's a summary test, I'll explain how the summary works, and then there's a full profile as well. I'll explain how that works. I'll be in touch.
Go back to the deep pockets one, not we?
You can do. So this goes back to the game changer. Why did I write this report? So
when you said you had this mission, who did you commission to do it?
So the people who wrote this report, who founded this profile thing. So I went to their researchers. I went to their PR people, Sarah as well, and I was basically said I want this to the. So we talked about the rise of entrepreneurship in Europe, what entrepreneurship means. We talked about what makes up an entrepreneur, the characteristics, stats around that. Using the DNA of the game changer, what makes up a game changer? We combined with that, and we came up with 4 critical steps to make up a team, which is based on that impact triangle. So it's just really a positional piece. So this is a free report that we're giving out, but and it starts to talk about, okay, you can be entrepreneurial, you can be game changing. It's not rocket science. You just need these simple things in place. So you can ask yourself: do you have great ideas, and you've got some people, and you're doing some good stuff, but you ain't got people around you? Which of those 3 is missing? And when you start to think about what impact you want to make and what you need, you can start to understand, okay, and then you can say, actually, what is the kind of impact I really want to make? And don't have this bottleneck. So, let's see if any more questions. Yeah, looking good, thank you very much. Those 2 people said that. Why what? Yeah, I don't know. Why have you not watched it? Why do you want to deep? What did you think about it? If you think about your TV channel on Facebook Internet, were you just ahead of the game?
You were just.
Yeah, seriously, that's twice he's put it to
I don't know. I didn't answer it, but I don't know.
The question is this statement. You were just.
Twice you've changed it round, this is interesting.
There's no question mark there.
Oh, okay. Explanation.
So the why was me, which was why am I putting the questions through here rather than asking? That was my
Because you can ask me straight up, but it's all recorded now. I can ask. Imagine using this when you've got like 400 or 500 audience. It's so powerful. It's really good. So it's called Bliss. If anybody wants to use it, I can get you.
Also, you can change your next presentation based on the questions that people ask.
Yeah, it's all online, right? We've got time. So, it's my usual talk. hopefully that was.
If you wait a second, I'll make a question. I think at the time.
That's all right. So that's how you make a game-changing impact. If you
Can I just say that Peter about you being ahead? You were, because other people were doing TV shows. So was it just that you weren't playing the right? You weren't trying.
No, the thing is, I was trying to create the TV channel and through YouTube and live stream. So YouTube had a live streaming mechanism then, but not many people were using it. So when we were doing live streaming on a Monday evening, when it was live, it was like quite novel. It was live, and I was telling people we're live. And then literally about 8-9 months later, Meerkat was first. And I thought, taking the piss, mate, we can do this. And then Periscope came, and then Facebook Live. And now we wouldn't think twice. You can turn this on now and broadcast to the world. Think about that 2 years ago. The idea of turning your phone that anybody can log in. You need a studio and everything. So within a phone.
But if you'd have got all the other stuff right, you could have still made a successful YouTube.
Yeah. Whether my business model wasn't right then. You know, I had some real heavy players involved in trying to create a business model, and it just wasn't stacking. Without commercial sponsorship, high end, they couldn't see how the numbers would stack in terms of making it viable until it started getting 2, 3, 4 million views. It just wasn't the traction.
But the concept of viral wasn't the same then as it is now. With Facebook Live, you know, a kid of 14 in their bedroom can go viral.
But one thing you also understand is, right, the TV channel was the vehicle for my original vision. The original vision was to create this platform. And when I was working with Dave, my video guy, he said, let's do some live streaming, because he wanted to experiment live streaming for his corporate clients. And so I could use him as a guinea pig. That would be a great TV channel. So the original vision of creating a platform to inspire the world was always there. The vehicle changed. Actually, went back originally, because I wanted to create .com, but I thought, I can't do that. So if you think about it, the TV didn't work, but the concept of the original idea was still there, and we've gone back to my original vehicle, if you like. So there's 3 opportunities here for you guys. One, if you want to be a contributor, just let me know.
All right.
Okay.
I thought you asked.
Okay, so the thing with the contributor is a commitment. Every single month, a unique piece of content, because it's consistency for you. And you can write about what you want. There's about 3 or 4 contributors who are writing about stuff they're not normally writing about in their normal business.
Such a lot.
They're just, from their marketing point of view, they're just being a bit more in their field. So you can talk about, the stuff that you talked about, the other stuff. That. That stuff. As opposed to printing, marketing, that stuff. Scott had his hand up. Scott has his hand up.
Question about the word entrepreneur. And do you think that word will be in our vocabulary for a long time? Or
I think it's overused.
Did it just get banned in?
Yeah, one of my original things was about redefining what entrepreneurship means, and then it's quite interesting because the more you go out there, it is landing. You always talk about entrepreneurship, but it's a slightly different way. They might not know exactly, but they get it. And when I'm going in schools, they get it as well. They're not saying, originally I thought, well, we don't want you to come and just teach our kids how to start a business. I said, no, it's entrepreneurial thinking. And when I started, okay, then it's soft skills. It's just my take on it. So your question, do I think it's going to be? Do you think the word? Do you think the word's more?
Do you think that the word entrepreneur is going to be vocabulary for?
I think of course, like anywhere, of course it will be. But the thing is, conventional society, you think entrepreneur, they think Dragon's Den apprentice.
So that's two. Is it like this? It's like my 12-year-old thinks he's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And
well, if it's a way of thinking, then it is. It's entrepreneurial. So if he's like thinking, oh, Dad, I'm going to sell sweets to the playground, it's entrepreneurial.
a lot of true entrepreneurs don't actually know or think of themselves.
Exactly, because it goes back to that thing about what you said there. There's no wrong with that. So it's part of the village. It's like collaboration. The way we collaboration is defining collaboration is different to out there. True collaboration, what you define, is something that only exists because 2 parties came involved. It cannot exist unless those 2 parties come together. That's true collaboration. It's not like you help me. That's a partnership or an associate or a contract. Whatever, yeah. So it's about redefining it. If I said, if I said to Belinda, come along to this event, it's a networking event, a bit of personal development, I've interviewed her before. Right? It's hard to explain. So I said, come along. She did, and it's a little bit different. Yeah.
I remember from the 80s in an episode of Minder, Arthur Daly sitting with his cigar in his mouth and his hat on, talking to Terry, and I am Terry, what you might call your entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And that was a
Yeah, and the thing is, and it's still very much society-wise, they think that.
Why?
It's just correct, huh?
Why?
White boy, yeah. I've never been called a white boy. On that point, any questions? Okay, oh, pick on.
Just to recap, you asked a few things. One was like, are you being a game changer? Is it showing up in like in your business and what you're doing in the world? And then you kind of got onto the model and looked through the other stuff. So my brain's trying to put pieces together. So are we saying if it's not showing up, then maybe we're missing some pieces on in terms of our team, or
You ask yourself, if you look at, if you've got a great idea, is it being implemented? Have you got the right people around you?
Yep.
And are you doing the things and doing them really well? Because we can do stuff, but not doing it really well. Because we do fall into trouble of just doing it good enough. How many of you just, I just do it good enough? Yeah, but we all do it. But those ones who really make a difference, it's not about the Gary V, you work 18 hours a day, but you work smart. You just do it really well. How many campaigns have you created that you think, I could have done it better if I really
Most of them.
Oh shit.
Nobody's talking about it.
Yeah. But on one level, isn't that criminal? On one level, we get it, we've all done it. But on one level, I started coaching a new client last week, and I approached this client in a very different way, because he approached me in a very different way. And I prepared something different, and I did some stuff. It was one of the best sessions I've ever had. He WhatsApped me afterwards, he goes, my brain's frazzled, don't know what's going on. And because I thought about this in a different way. So it's like, so your next campaign, what would you need, what would you do that your next campaign, whoever you create it for, whatever they pay you, you make it the best that you could. What would need to turn up, it's a rhetorical question, it's an answer. What would you need to change here, and what would you need to implement for that client to go, oh my God, better sex. That kind of reaction. That's what I want on Spirit, to look at it and go, that's better than sex.
It's not a good strap line.
It's that level of thinking. Like if you look at a Tesla, who's driven a Tesla before? A proper, I've driven, right? It was close. Right? I've now that down bar throw, 0 to 60 in like 2 seconds. It's on YouTube. It was unbelievable. The closest thing I think was going to a rocket. Test drive this Tesla. It's that kind of, that Elon Musk creates something that you think, oh my God. Before that test drive, I think, I'm not Tesla, looks like a glorified Toyota. But it's not. Anyway, thank you for your time.